Okay, there we go. Oops. I'm live now on, where am I? YouTube and Facebook. Hello. Just setting up, waiting for people to turn up. Okay. I got on tomorrow. So we're just waiting for everyone to turn up. Where are you from? I'm here in Vancouver, Canada. Where are you from? Let's see. Taylor, Jackie, Rosemary. Who's on? Oh, I never know who's on YouTube unless they ask a question or make a comment. Sorry. Just a sec. I'm writing something down here. Okay. Michigan. Hello. Kelsey from Michigan. That's what I was going to name. I wanted to name my daughter Kelsey, but my husband didn't want it. So we came out with Amy. It was a compromise. We both like the name Amy, but yeah, my first choice was Kelsey. I like that name. Vermont. Excellent. Sounds beautiful up there. Washington State. So we're neighbors, Jackie. And Ontario. Okay. Okay. So let's get going with the live. We've got enough people here. This is one of my pop-up lives, just surprise live. So let me see. Tomorrow morning, we start our group coaching sessions with the boot camp courses. So if you're not in a boot camp now, you might want to look into that. Adelaide. Hello, Adelaide. Never made it down there. Adelaide is down south in Australia, but it's actually sort of a little bit more inland too in Australia. Never made it down that far. I lived up north for 20 years. Sydney and Brisbane. Mid to north. Okay. Okay, so let's get going with your questions. You can check out the link above for my website if you want to know more. Okay, I just want to thank you. You have helped me with my almost 3-year-old in so many ways. Illinois. Excellent. That's why I keep doing these lives. I don't know how much longer we'll be able to do them, to be honest, just because we're so busy. We've got so many different things going right now. But yeah, I love doing these lives. And so we'll always have a way of getting out there. Okay, Perth, Australia. Never made it over there. I've got... this year I had a couple of clients from Perth. Okay. In coaching. Okay, so just waiting for your questions now. By the way, I'm a parenting coach if you're new. If not, welcome back. Yeah, my name's Lisa. Okay, I'm a mom, grandmother, and a parenting coach. My hair is all goofy tonight. And one of my cameras is backwards, so it's really confusing. Just bought the BratBusters course here in Canberra. Excellent. Which one? I'm going to see if I can figure that out. The older one or the toddler one? Yeah. Okay, excellent. So you're going to join us tomorrow. The older one. Okay, so great. So you're going to join us for our time. It's 9 o'clock. So we're doing the first... it's a group coaching session. If you're in the boot camp courses, we're starting our group coaching sessions. They're going to go for 6 weeks. Anyway, that is starting tomorrow morning. We're really excited about it, which means I can't go to the gym first thing in the morning. That's my thing in the morning. So yeah, that's a big deal to me to miss the gym. I start every day at the gym. So I'm not saying I'm conscious, but I'm there. Okay. So yeah, that's what we're preparing for that right now. So 3-year-old, pretty rough with our 10-month-old dog. How do I address it? You put down, you don't be mean to the dog. And boy, you come in hard with that stuff. I would make him pick up dog poop, or I would even do 24-hour media blackout if he's being mean to the dog, because I take that so seriously. And put it on the behavior board. The behavior board is completely free. It's up above in the link. And you put down no being mean to the dog. And if you do, no screens for 24 hours. I would come in hard with that one. And if you can't keep the animal safe, rehome it. I'm such a big advocate for animal welfare and safety. So yeah. Okay. Oops, here we go. We struggle with our 3-year-old girl always preferring me over dad for everything. He gets so hurt by it. We don't know what to do. Change his behavior. Is he the pleaser? The pleaser is the one who usually gets left behind. Are you the disciplinarian? The disciplinarian is the one. Children equate discipline with love. So yeah, it doesn't mean that they love you more. It just means that they lean into you more. They feel more protected when they're disciplined. So he might be the pleaser parent. Tell him not to do that. Check out the link above my website. I got these lives. You can teach them how to be a leader. And check out my boot camp courses. That is how you learn how to be a leader. So yeah, I don't know what kind of parenting. I can't give you advice because I don't know where he's coming from. So I suggest leadership parenting, which is what I teach. You can start with a free behavior board. If not, you can buy a boot camp course. And our group coaching sessions start tomorrow, which we're really excited about. That's only if you're in the boot camp courses. Okay. I'm not going to do a picky eating one because I'm not a nutritionist, okay? And I do sometimes talk about what I did with my kids, but it's not really sound advice. I'm not a nutritionist. I can't help you with picky eaters. I just don't want to even get into it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. It's a medical health issue. So I teach relationship stuff. So yeah, all my kids had was healthy food in the house. We had no junk food in the house at all. So you either eat healthy or you don't eat at all. That's all I can tell you is what I did. But most people don't want to live like that. It's just I'm a real health nut, so it didn't bother me at all. Okay, what if you have a 5-year-old throwing terrible tantrums, like throwing herself, scratching herself? Yeah, you just physically restrain them if they get violent. That's all you can do. If they're hurting themselves, hurting someone else, or damaging property, you physically restrain them when they're really wild. Let them go. If they start up again, just grab them again. You're still not talking to them or looking at them. You're just keeping them safe, right? So, and why is she still having tantrums at 5? I'd look into the boot camp course. It teaches you how to be a leader because past the age of 3.5 to 4, tantrums would just stop. If you're a leader, they have no reason to tantrum because yeah. No, so you got a little one who hits, just say no and sort of push them away a little bit. Don't throw them across the room, but just sort of go no and just sort of push them away from you gently and then just walk away and ignore them. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Repetition, repetition. But you don't let them keep hitting. The next time they go in for a hit, you grab them and you say no. So you don't let them continue to hit. The first hit, you don't always see that coming, right? So you just grab their hand, their hitting hand, or both of them. You say no, push them away, and then get up and leave. They will eventually learn. But sometimes they do that just for attention. You've got to make sure that you give them attention when they're good to teach them that when they're good. So then when they're nice after that, then you might want to read a book quickly to them or something. So you want to teach them that when you're good, you get attention. When you're bad, you get none. What if your 12-year-old still has tantrums? Is it too late to fix that? No, check out the boot camp course, 3 to 12 years old. I specialize in teenagers. So, but that course goes up to 12 and it could even go up to 13, 14, depending on their maturity level. But yeah, so I'd check out the boot camp course because it's all about you. Their tantrums are generally, unless they have some other behavioral issues or something else underlying or some trauma or something else going on, generally it's just you. You lead, they just stop. It calms them down. When they have a leader, they just feel taken care of. They feel safe. They feel calm. My son was 15 and he would have liked to have rebelled. He had it in him. Not a lot. He wasn't real like that. He was a pretty cautious kid overall, but he had some rebellion in him. But he said to me, he was kind of mad. He was 15. He says, "You've been a difficult mom." I was shocked. I thought it was wonderful. We were like best friends. And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he says, "Because I could never rebel. You're too reasonable and easy to talk to." Whoa, that's what leadership does. They can't rebel. How can they rebel against a leader? It just doesn't happen. And tantrums are a result of not getting their own way and not understanding what's going on and not having a leader. So check out the boot camp course. It's in the link above. Yeah, I've got lots of examples of consequences for 3-year-olds. Just look at the behavior board. It's completely free. It has examples in there. It's usually you don't start with taking something away. You start with a positive action. If they won't do that, then you resort to the negative deprivation. So clean a window for 5. I'll give you 15 minutes to clean that window. If they don't do it, okay, 24-hour media blackout starts now. Or your favorite toy is going away for 24 hours now. Something like that. What if your 2-year-old rips his books all the time? Why does he have books? Just take them away and you read them to him so he can't tear them up. Yeah, they don't understand what they're doing at that age. So yeah, just take them all away and you just read him the books. Don't let him have them. He's having fun doing it. You're setting him up for failure. If he likes ripping books and you're letting him have books, he's going to keep ripping books. You see what I mean? Don't set him up for failure. It's like saying, I had a friend who had a kid who he keeps brushing his teeth with the toilet brush. And I was like, oh my God, why on earth are you letting him in the bathroom? Like, why on earth is there not a child lock on that door? But she was adamant that it was his fault. No, it's your fault. Put a lock on the damn door. Geez, I was grossed out by that. Why the heck is a 2-year-old brushing their teeth with a toilet brush? And she was blaming him. How do I stop him from doing that? Put a lock on the door. Of course, I never said that. I don't give advice to friends or family, parenting advice, unless they ask. Hello, I just bought the BratBusters course here in Canberra. Oh, sorry, I already read that. Canberra. I've been in Canberra. I actually went to Canberra. We were living in Brisbane, and my husband at the time was going to be transferred to Canberra with his company. Turned out it didn't happen. Canberra is an interesting, actually, Canberra is the capital of Australia, and its own little state, ACT it's called, and it's sort of in the middle of New South Wales. It's just a little floaty state in there. It's really weird. So it's the government capital, but it's built in a circle. So like the Capitol building or whatever they call it is in the middle, and then all the roads circle around it. It's quite an interesting city. Very, of course, it's politicians, right? A lot of political stuff there. Okay, I have a very willful 3-year-old girl. This is Celine. Oh, same person. She likes to combat what we say to get her way. She is okay at home, but very nasty to friends and educators. How do we enforce consequences when she's not with us? That's interesting. Usually it's the other way around. They're usually good with other people and not at home. It occurs to me that perhaps you're giving in to her a lot, that you're the pleaser parent. Therefore, she gets all her own way when she's at home, and when she's out and about, other people aren't going to cater to her like that. That's a bit of a tell. I could be wrong, but that's my gut reaction, is that you're the pleaser, you're giving in to all her demands. And that's why when she goes out, she's entitled. She expects everyone else to do that. So I could be wrong, though. I'm generalizing. Oh, you asked about, do you have examples for 3-year-old other than timeout? Oh, I see, other than timeout. I thought you said other than, I read that too fast. I answered that, and I thought you meant media blackout. For some reason, I had that in my head. Anyway, yeah, timeout, just to reiterate, obviously Thea knows that I hate timeout, can't stand timeout. There's no lesson learned. It's just shaming children. You go sit in the corner, you worthless piece of kid. It's just awful. I think it's so mean. Yeah, there's no lesson in that. You're just making them feel like crap. Can't stand timeout. Did I make that clear? Very opinionated. There's 3 things I can't stand that are very common discipline methods. One is timeout. Then the next one, the one that I don't like a little bit more than timeout, is now I can't remember now. Diversion. Because you never divert with broccoli. Like you never say, here's some broccoli you divert when they're being naughty, right? So they're being naughty, and then here's some candy. So in other words, they're naughty and they get a reward, right? It's a reward system. So they just learn to be naughty, so they get a reward. The worst one is the countdown. If you don't stop that by the time I count to 3, you're in big trouble, mister. 1, 1.5, 2. It's just so weak. And plus, then it gives them they got 3 counts to be rotten. Keep punching your little brother for 3 more counts. Then he stops, and you go 3, and they break. Where's the consequence for what they just did? They just pummeled their little brother. Where's the consequence? You're like, phew. The countdown implies that you don't want to ever discipline your children because you're hoping you never have to. So it's just the worst. You're telling them it's okay to be rotten in the short term, but not in the long term. It's mixed message. It's a disaster. Okay. Oops. What time is it? Okay, I got a little bit more time here. Newly 4-year-old is always running off the soccer field. I try to encourage to play with teammates. I can't answer that. Let's ask the coach about that. Say, a lot of them just do that. So yeah, I don't really know if it's a big deal. Ask the coach. Say, any suggestions? So that's sort of the coach's world. So see what he says. I just ask his advice. How does he get kids to stay on the field? I'm not going to discuss the slur. I don't like to discuss that stuff. Use the behavior board. Put it on there. It's free. It's up above. I remember when I was growing up, my mother was way ahead of her time. And I remember she said to me, and I don't remember how she worded it, but she said, and we were a very conservative household and that, and she said, if you ever judge anybody by the way they look, their skin color, the way they sound, their religion or anything, she goes, it's just a sign of your own ignorance. And I always remembered that. That always stuck with me because it is. And yeah, that always stuck with me. It's just a sign of your own ignorance. It makes people look stupid. And boy, she was a gem. My mother was phenomenal. And dad was great too, but my mom she just had an extra thing going on. How do you explain the BratBusters way of parenting to someone that uses old school parenting and still believes smacking? Because I work on their self-esteem. That's what I do. My whole goal is children with high self-esteem. They like themselves, they're proud of themselves, and they have high self-esteem. That's why. I don't want obedient little soldiers. They will rebel in the teen years, by the way. When you raise their self-esteem and you're the result of that, they don't rebel. There's nothing to rebel against. You're a leader. You sail through the teen years, just like I did. That's the goal anyway. I had it pretty easy. But I worked for it. I earned that. I earned that respect because I gave it to get it. You got to give it to get it. You got to be accountable. That's why the behavior board has you on it too, the parents. Sorry, I got to go over to, I got stuff to do later. So I got to go over to, we're starting up our group coaching sessions with the boot camps tomorrow. So if you're in on that, you'll get on the group coaching. It's all on Zoom. We called it a Q&A, but it's really more of a coaching thing. Anyway, that's starting up tomorrow morning. So we got stuff to do preparing for that. I'm hopping over to Instagram now if you want to join me over there. And I think that's it. Happy parenting. Bye now. I'm still on YouTube because I'm going to hop to Instagram and then TikTok, as I always do when I'm doing these lives. Here we go. Oops. So I'm just waiting for people to turn up. Okay. Oh, people turn up fast on Instagram. I actually answered some comments today on Instagram. I don't usually have time for that. So my daughter just said, Mom, get on Instagram, just answer some comments. It was like, I don't even know how to do that. I didn't even know how to do it. That was funny. But yeah, so there you go. The Maldives. I've heard of the Maldives, but I don't know where they are. Someone on YouTube said they're from the Maldives. Maldives. Where is that? Oh, God, that's gorgeous. That is beautiful. You live there or are you just holidaying there? My God, that's beautiful. Wow. Wow, that's gorgeous. Eliza, no, that's Risha, I can't say your name, sorry. But wow, that's beautiful. Okay, let's get going with your questions. By the way, our boot camp group coaching sessions start tomorrow morning. So if you want to get in on that, you can join in any time. But if you want to get all 6 of them, they start tomorrow every Saturday morning. Then you can get in on that starting tonight. Tomorrow morning we're starting. So we start at 8 a.m. my time tomorrow morning, which means I can't go to the gym. I start every day at the gym, so I won't be able to do that. I'll be all discombobulated. Okay, do you have a book? No, I've never written a book. I don't have time, but maybe one day I will. So yeah, I should write a book one day. But anyway, and I've never read a book on parenting or kids or anything. I'm self-taught. So kids taught me all this stuff. So I can't recommend one either is what I'm saying. Okay, viewing from Hertfordshire. Hertfordshire. It's got to be close to that, Hertfordshire. Am I right? Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay. You must have asked a couple of questions because you said also, but I can't go back. I get dizzy when I go back. Okay. Where can we send your questions? For the group coaching sessions, it's all live. So you turn up in the little boxes on Zoom and you just ask, put up your hand in Zoom. That's how you ask. I don't answer parenting questions anywhere else. I don't have, like, you can't just send me an email for parenting questions. I'd be doing that all day, every day. So that doesn't happen. This is why I do lives. This is where I answer parenting questions, or in the group coaching sessions with the Zoom, or obviously you can hire me for coaching one-on-one if you want. But tomorrow we start the boot camp group coaching sessions. They'll go for 6 weeks. It's just a one-off. We do it every so often. Yeah. Okay. Advice. Okay, this was the one that confused me. Advice for achieving message discipline across multiple caregivers. How important is it that I am using the same languages? Not at all. You are the only one who's doing this. You are the leader. Let everybody else do their job. Let the nanny do their job. Let the daycare workers do their job. You don't micromanage other people. It's very important that you don't. Children need to learn how to adapt to different styles. That's extremely important, because if you expect everyone to do what you're doing with your child, then can you imagine if every parent expected that with everyone out there telling the teacher, you do this with my child, this with that? It's very important that children learn how to be adaptable and adapt. And they do adapt. Believe me, my kid. And the thing is, when you're a good leader, by the time they're 3 to 3.5, that's when their self-esteem is at the highest, is with the leader. That because they feel so good about themselves when they're with the leader, by the time they're 3 to 3.5, they carry that personality everywhere they go. They're under that leadership umbrella, I call it, okay? Because that's when they're at their strongest, their best, their nicest, is when they're with the leader. So they like themselves. They tend to turn into that person wherever they go. But yeah, don't tell anyone else how to do this. Just, you're the leader. You can have nannies report to you, but you're the leader. You can have the behavior board up when they're 3 years old. You can have that up. The nanny can look at it and say, I'm going to tell your parents. So when they get home, they'll deal with that. You want to make sure you're the only leader. Yeah, don't tell other people how to do their job. And it's not important at all that it's across the board at all. Okay. What else was I going to say about that? I don't know. Can't remember. My 3-year-old wants to do everything himself, buckle himself, car seat and everything. Just use a timer and say, okay, if you're not ready if you're not dressed in 5 minutes, I'll do it for you, or I'll help you. So yeah, just set a timer. And yeah, they might want to do everything themselves, but give them lots of time to do it, for one thing. But set a timer. Say, okay, when the buzzer goes off, I'll have to help you. So yeah, do it that way. Yeah, you say your 4-year-old keeps having tantrums, anger issues at school. It says you're not a leader. Work on your leadership skills. Check out the boot camp course. You can start with the free behavior board. In other words, set down a rule and a consequence. And you're on that board too. So the behavior board is completely free, and it's the training wheels with all this stuff. If you want the course, you have to join that. That goes into more in-depth stuff. But yeah, if he's out of control, that's you. It's all you. Everything starts and ends at home by the time they're 4. Certainly by 4, 3 usually. But yeah, it means you gotta work on yourself. You gotta fix yourself. Remember, we're never fixing kids here. People are very quick to blame their kids for their behavior, which I find fascinating. See, I don't. Even when I was working with kids, if they acted up, they weren't even my kids. I had them for an hour a week. If they acted up around me, I would always go like this. I go, what am I missing here? What am I doing wrong here? That's a leader. A leader blames themselves, not the child. It's like, if parents are very comfortable blaming their children and not themselves. I find that fascinating. Yeah, it's not them, it's you. We're not fixing kids, we're fixing parents here. I teach parenting, I teach leadership. They are a reflection of you. Their behavior is 100% between 3 and 12 years old, a direct reflection of your parenting. Whenever a parent gets offended by that, I say, oh, so you love yourself more than your kids? You're happy to blame them, but not yourself? Why wouldn't you look in the mirror and think, I can fix this? That's the best news you can hear. You can fix it, because it's you. Right? We're not fixing kids at all. They're just a reflection of you. So work on yourself. Work on your parenting. It's all I teach here. It's a big word, but I'm going to try and read it. Trying to end intergenerational trauma. And I may have spoiled my 3-year-old too much and I want to end it. Any suggestions? Yeah, check out the behavior board. A rule and a consequence. And I don't know what you mean by spoiling. Just say the spoiling stops now. I'm not buying you stuff except Christmas and birthdays. So, but you always have experiences with kids. The most important thing with your children is connecting with them, playing with them. Their love language is fun. It's not stuff. Parents who think they're spoiling their children by buying them stuff, that's not what it's about. That's not love. That's something else. That's fixing your own stuff, right? It makes you feel better to do it. They want you to play with them. They'd rather run in the park with you than get a toy. Yeah. Connect with them, play with them in their world, not yours, in their world. Okay, so I'm just scrolling ahead to make sure you're still here. I actually answered some comments today on videos. I never usually have time for that. My daughter said she's sort of in charge of all this. She's sort of in charge of me. So she said, Mom, go answer some comments. She's always said that, but today she kind of drilled it home. So yeah, I didn't know how to be honest. I didn't know what I was doing, but I figured it out. So I answered some comments today, just on Instagram here. I just don't have time for all that usually. Okay, my son is 9. Is it too late? I feel like I failed him. He's 9. He's not 19. Okay, I specialize in teenagers, so it's never too late. No, it's not too late at all. It's more work though, way more work. Check out the boot camp course. It's 5 weeks to set yourself up as a leader. And the group coaching sessions are starting tomorrow. So they're just a one-off. We do that. We're doing a 6-week group coaching session thing every Saturday. So check that out. And it'll be on Zoom, and you'll see all the other parents struggling with all the same stuff you are. They're all there to learn more. 9 is not too late. That they're still babies. Gosh, at that age, that's still the easy age. Do you think kids can just have bad days? My daughter was for my okay. Yeah, of course they can have bad days, but they never need to be disrespectful. But oftentimes parents push them into that too. Whereas I would have just said, okay, we're having a bad day. And I wouldn't have said, you're having a bad day. Okay, great. Today's just not a great day. Let's just all do our own thing. So yeah, you don't push them into it. But there's no reason to be disrespectful. Can you put no whining on the behavior board for 5-year-old? No, that's in the attitude department. No, you can't. But what you can say to a 5-year-old is when you talk to, by the way, I won't be answering you anymore when you whine. And when you're whining, it's like, that whining. But if you talk nicely, I will answer you, but the answer may still be no. Now have a symbol or a signal. It could just be like this. Let them know when I go like this, it means you're whining and I'm not going to answer you. So because they often don't know they're doing it because it's such a habit. So yeah, so don't put it on the behavior board though. That's ridiculous. It just would never work. Because it's in the attitude department. That's like saying, be nice. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. It has to be actions, basically. The only things that you can put on there that come out of their mouth is swearing. Don't say no swearing, no name calling. But you can't put no yelling or anything like that. Yeah. Someone's asking me about daycare. Is it good to put them in daycare? Are they going to grow up depressed if they're not, or if they are? Nobody really knows about that. Anything can be a great experience for kids, if they're home with you or if they're in daycare. But the most important thing with parenting, I think, is connecting with them. You want to be their leader. So sure, put them in if you're happier. Happy parents mean happy kids usually. If you're happier with them in daycare, then throw them in daycare. They'll survive. They'll be just fine. Then when they come home, you're all refreshed and you're happy to see them. So whatever makes you happy, they'll survive. Children are they're tougher than you think. And it does teach them a lot of skills. They learn social skills. They, good, bad, and ugly sometimes. But yeah, it can be a real positive. You got a runner for a kid? Yeah, get a leash. And don't clip them in until they start to run. Then put a harness on them first before you go out. And then you tell them, by the way, if you run away from me, you'll be clipped in. And then just do it. And keep them clipped in for the rest of that outing. Yeah, they're going to drop and scream. That's okay. Just wait it out. Do this. Teach them this when it's somewhere you don't need to go, like going to the park or something. You don't care if you ever get there. Don't do it when you have to go to the airport to catch a flight. You know what I mean? Because they're going to drop and scream. So yeah, that's okay. They'll learn eventually. Everyone wants to avoid the scenes. The scenes are the lessons. That is them transitioning into your leadership. The scenes are gold. That is the lesson. The fit scenes, meltdowns, and tantrums are them processing your leadership. So walk into it. Go, yippee. The rainbow is at the other side of that. You got to go through the storm to get to the rainbow, right? Don't try and avoid these scenes. Like that, I often use this example, that 8-year-old kid, he didn't know who I was. He wouldn't have done this if he did, because all the other kids would have told him. But anyway, he said to me, I was just going to work with him, like a behavioral mentor. And he said to me, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to have a fit. And I said to him, bring it on. And he never did. You can see him processing, oh, she knows what she's doing. I have no fear of a scene. If anything, I was kind of disappointed that he didn't have one, because I was like, watch and learn, people, watch and learn. Like, that scene is gold. He was great with me, but he knew, I know what I'm doing. He knows he can't manipulate me with a scene. Scenes are made to manipulate you, to get their own way. Don't be afraid of them. Okay, I got to get going over to TikTok. This is just a short live tonight, so I'm on YouTube the whole time. Check out the link above. Our group coaching sessions with the boot camp courses are starting tomorrow. So we're very excited about that, but it means I can't go to the gym first thing in the morning. I start every single morning at the gym. So yeah, I'm kind of stressed out about that. The only time that I am absolutely regimented is my morning routine. So yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to look like tomorrow morning. I'll be all pouty because I couldn't get to the gym. But anyway, so it starts at 8 a.m. our time, Pacific time for the toddler one, 9 a.m. for the older boot camp course. It's a group coaching session on Zoom. So you're welcome to join in. You have to be in the boot camp course to do it, though. So check that out if you're interested. Anyway, I'm going to be going over to TikTok now. Happy parenting. Bye now. I'm trying to stay away from TikTok at times because, God, it's addictive. And it's just such mindless, just scrolling through. I don't look up subjects. I just scroll through and, oh my God, it's so addictive. I don't know what they've done. There must be drugs coming out of the phone when they're doing it. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I'm addicted to it. Tabitha, I always said I would never leash my child. That's before you had kids, right? Yeah. Things change when you got kids. Oh, my child would never act that way. Then you got a kid hanging from the chandelier. Oops. Okay. Oh, you work with kids. Yeah, I don't teach that. I don't teach anything other than parenting. I'm very careful with that. A huge portion of my clients are teachers, principals, and child psychologists. I couldn't do their jobs. They're different. They're not the same. There's some crossover, but not much. It's that different. But yeah, like I said, I couldn't do their jobs, and they struggle with parenting. Parenting is personal. Those are business. Different relationship. I teach parent-child relationship, bonding, connection. Okay. Anyway. But lots of people are taking my advice and using it in schools and daycares and say it works. But you got to glean, you got to figure out what would work and what would fit in, you know. Any tips on teenagers? Oh my God, that's my favorite age. No one ever asks on here. It's usually toddler stuff. These are my top 4 tips for parenting teenagers. They're my specialty as teenagers. I love them, but I understand them. So if you don't understand them, I can see how they would be very difficult. You think they would be very difficult and why they think you're very difficult. I get it. Anyway. My son was 15 and he said to me, I could never rebel because you're too reasonable and easy to talk to. And I thought, ooh, that's a shame. Anyway, yeah, you want to be a leader when they're young and you want to pass that leadership torch over to them gradually when they become teenagers. Very important. Okay. The teenagers are not difficult at all. Parents just don't adjust to the teen years. Anyway, these are my top 4 tips for parenting teenagers. Number 1, listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with, or they will shut you out. If they want your advice, they'll ask for it. They already know it anyway. Number 2, negotiate as much as possible. Hey, I want your dirty clothes in the hamper. What do you want from me? Okay. Number 3, don't sweat the small stuff with teenagers. If they do something stupid and it's not a big deal, just say, well, that was stupid. Do you want to hear what I did when I was your age? And laugh it off. Do you want to hear what I did this morning? We all do dumb things. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes, just like you did, just like they do, just like you continue to do. It's human, right? Number 4, don't leverage the good times to discuss the bad times. When I teach parents how to connect with their teenager, next thing you know, they're sitting playing video games together or something. I say, do not bring up anything serious. Do not say something. Sure enough, every so often they will. They'll say, I can't, they told me to F off and they left the room. And I say, what did you say? And sometimes they'll say, I just said, I'm so glad we're having fun. The last 2 years with you has been difficult. They leverage the good time to discuss the bad time. They wanted to get their little dig in. Yeah, don't do that. They can't figure out why the kid got up, told them to F off and got up, left the room. I told them not to do it. But yeah, then they laugh and I say, laugh it off and let's move on. Then they got to make it up to them too. They have to make amends for that. Okay, so that's my top tips with teenagers. By far my favorite age, by far. I started my business doing crisis work with teenagers, parents of teenagers. And then I realized I think I'm better spread thinner and discussing how to prevent that. So I still do work in coaching. I still do work with trauma and crisis and all that stuff with teenagers, but I don't lead with that anymore. I lead with prevention. How do we prevent that? And never take advice from someone who hasn't finished the job with parenting. How do they know how to get into those teen years? How do they know? A lot of what I'm sure is taught, because I get this from parents who've hired other coaches who have younger children and they haven't finished the job yet. And they'll say, oh, they told me to do this, but the teen years were a disaster. Right, because you weren't told how to adjust your parenting for the teen years. Things change. So yeah. So if you're going to take parenting advice, make sure they finish the job. Otherwise, how can they teach it? How can you teach it? It's like taking financial advice from someone with $10 in the bank. Where's their proof? Have they have they lived with teenagers and raised adults who are functioning? Anyway. That's why I take it really seriously. Teens are, it can be pretty serious stuff. The trouble they can get into can be pretty serious. Do you have a book? No, I don't have a book. I've never read a book on kids or parenting either. So one day I hope to read a book, but I'm on here all the time. I get millions of videos. So, and you can look at my newsletter too. My daughter does all my marketing and social media newsletters. She does such a good job with the newsletters. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into those. I don't know anything about them, but she does a really good job with that. So you might want to join the newsletter list. There'll be stuff coming up with that. Okay, what age do I start doing this with my baby? I'm going to read out the top, the 4 parenting stages, the 4 stages of parenting. 0 to 15 months. It's basically meet their needs and meet their wants. So there's no discipline, but you're starting to teach them right from wrong. So if they do something naughty, like throw something, you say no, and you just gently put the toy away, then you redirect. Okay, you're just teaching them right from wrong. 16 to 35 months, they know right from wrong. Now you're disciplining. Okay, it's using consistent corrective actions, but you do it through repetition, repetition, repetition. They don't learn the first 50 times. Maybe the 51st time they might learn. You got to be consistent. Okay, then you go into the child phase, 3 to 12 years old. That's the easiest phase. That's when their behavior is 100% a direct result of your parenting, because you're their leader. They look up to you. They want to please you. That's the way it works. Toddlers are crazy. Teenagers, you don't want them to want to please you. You want them to be their own leaders, but you're there as backup. So anyway, 3 to 12, that's when you're at the height of your leadership skills. You're best friends with your kids. You don't even have to discipline them because they're self-disciplining. That's the goal anyway. Okay, then you go into the teen phase, 13 plus. That's when you're passing the torch over. You got to start letting stuff go, letting them make mistakes just like you did, but you're always there for backup. When you're good at this and you're a really good listener, with teenagers, they'll tell you everything. Now, when they're going to tell you everything, and they tell you everything before they do it, when they tell you everything, are they going to go out of line? Are they ever going to do anything awful when they know darn well they can't shut up and they're going to tell you everything? I know my kids used to say, I can't stop. I have to tell you everything, because they just were so used to talking to me. So yeah, there's a lot of power in that. And it's not authority. It's just trust. It's trust. It's respect. But you got to give it to get it. With all ages, you give it to get it. Anyway, that's the 4 stages of parenting. And that's just all me. I make all this stuff up. That's just from my own experience. Someone said, where do you get all this from? Well, 50 plus years of working with kids. I figured it all out myself. So, and it hasn't changed. That's what's funny about it. It's not like I've changed at all, because times change, but people don't. It's all the same stuff. We all have the same basic needs. We all want to feel loved, respected, and we want to have fun. Kids' love language is fun. Parents don't play enough with their kids. They're quicker to praise than play. Praise is overrated. Play is underrated. Fun is their love language. Praise is okay, but they don't care about it. You do. That's for you. They don't care about it. You look at a 5-year-old little boy and you say to him, you're wonderful, you're special, you're good looking, you're smart, oh, and you're wonderful, perfect, perfect, perfect. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go do the dishes. You look at his face. You say to that same kid, hey, what are you doing? Can I play too? Look at his face. See the difference? What face would you rather see? Think about it. Parents are overpraising and underplaying across the board. Build them up with praise. Praise gets good behavior. That is garbage. Praise does not get good behavior. That is absolute crap. That's along the positive reinforcement garbage. 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 Don't get me started on that. Please don't ask me about that. I could go on forever. Okay. Sticker charts. Can't stand them. Sticker charts are reward. Usually they're reward charts. Same thing. What they're saying, a reward chart, it works in school. We're not a school here. I'm teaching parenting. These things, school are very different from parenting. That's why a lot of my clients are teachers and principals. I couldn't do their job. It's different. Okay. Parenting is different. If you have a reward chart for good behavior at home, the message that you are sending your children is you're normally rotten. If you should happen to be good, you'll get a sticker. See the message? Imagine if your husband came home and said, oh, you were a good girl today. You're going to get a sticker. What would you say? It's the exact same feeling, but you could articulate the anger. Kids don't get that yet. It's an insult. A reward chart is an insult. A behavior board says you're normally wonderful. If you should happen to do something rotten, I know how to deal with it. See the difference? My baseline is good behavior. I just expect it. And I act surprised when I don't get it. Imagine if your husband came home and said, oh, you were really good today, or you were good at dinner tonight. I'm going to give you a sticker. You kind of want to kill him, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? Think about it. It's an insult. A reward chart. Do not do it. How do you feel about dancing fruit on YouTube videos for 5-month-old? Anything in moderation. I know I've got a granddaughter and they showed that to us and they said, God, we got to be careful with that because if they need to go shower or something, they would put her in front of it. And they said, but you got to be careful because they're just loving it. It's just this crazy, it's a black screen, I think, with these big crazy fruits going through. I think she liked the apricot or something. And the funny thing is, I found myself watching it too. Like, I don't know what it is. But yeah, anything in moderation. If you got to go to the bathroom or you have to go to shower, sure, shove it in front of them. You don't want them screaming. So yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. But I'm not a professional with all that stuff like me. You know, they'll say they should never look at screens and all that. I don't know. But as a mother, I'm a parenting coach. So I would put my kids in front of that. If I had to go take a shower, you bet. There's some fruit for you. Here's a screen. The tempting thing is, now I'd like to read a book. Just don't lean on it. Don't lean on it too much. Yeah, and I'd really like to take a nap and have a cup of coffee. Okay. Oh, if kids throw toys, you just put the toys away. Put them where they can see them but can't touch them for a good hour after that. Just put stuff away. And if you do a toy rotation system, which is what I recommend, my kids only had a few toys out. Pretty easy to pack all their toys up and put them away. Pretty easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up they go. So yeah, if they throw stuff, put it away. Don't look at them or talk to them though. What can I do instead of a reward chart? What do you mean? What do you mean? I have no idea what you mean. You mean rewarding good behavior? You don't reward good behavior. Why would you do that? It would be like your husband saying, you were good today, good girl. You don't reward good behavior. You just deal with bad behavior. You connect with your children, play with them, have fun with them. But if they're good, just treat it like a baseline normal. Good behavior should be treated like it's just normal and expected. I don't know what you mean by that. What do you do instead of, you mean to reward good behavior? Think about it. Think about it. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? But the big emotions are out of control. I don't know what you mean. Okay. Check out my boot camp courses. It goes into all this in great detail so you get the bigger picture. Okay. I teach leadership. You are calm. Oh, here it is. What are my top 3 leadership qualities as a parent? Number 1, stay calm during the storms. When you're disciplining, you stay calm. It's like a business transaction, no emotions. Number 2, be crazy during the rainbows. The rest of the time, just be fun, crazy, singing around the house. Whatever. You can be crazy all when the fun times. Okay. Number 3, when they're 3 and over, become a great listener. You listen to understand and show empathy. You don't listen to gather information to lecture with. So be calm during the storms, crazy during the rainbows. Make sure there's lots of rainbows. Have fun with your kids and become a great listener. Those are my top 3 parenting leadership tips. There's a lot to learn. If you want to learn how to do all this, I've got the boot camp course, and we've got our group coaching sessions, which are just a one-off 6-week program. It's all free in the boot camp course. The group coaching sessions on Zoom are starting tomorrow morning. So if you want to get in on that. Someone said what someone else recommended to you. I don't critique what other people gave you as parenting advice. I'm not going to critique that. If you said someone else told you that, I'm not going to critique it. I just don't do that. I think that's tacky. So I just wouldn't do it. But I just teach what I know, and I teach what I don't like. But if you ask me if someone else said that, it changes things. Like I've been asked to do some pretty big shows on a panel discussing different parenting methods. Oh my God. I think that'd be horrible. I would never do that. I would be very uncomfortable doing that. And yeah, I'm self-taught, and everything I teach, I just invented, and kids taught me all this. I figured out what worked. I was doing this at 11 years old. I was volunteering in daycare centers. I knew how to do this at 11. So I didn't know how to explain it. But I know the daycare ladies used to ask. I was just volunteering in a daycare center. It was one of those home daycare centers. Can I help out with the kids? And that was back in the day when it was there's no insurance or anything with that, right? They said, sure. And so I ended up with all the difficult kids, just helping out with them. And I was good at it. And they used to say, how do you do that? They want to please you, and they want to be with you and please you. I was a leader back then with kids, and I was 11 years old. So I obviously had a passion for this, or I had a talent for this. I'm not great at a lot of things, but I always found kids pretty easy to deal with. I always understood them because I never want obedient soldiers. I was always trying to figure out what they need. Always. And I remember studying them thinking, oh, that's what 2 is like. That's what 3 is like. That's what 4 is like. I can literally remember what it feels like to be 3, 4, and every year. 2, a little bit of that, but not so much. But yeah, so I've been doing this forever. Times change, but people don't change. Like we still all have the same needs, right? Oops. I've got to get going now. I got a lot of stuff to do tonight. We're preparing for our group coaching sessions with the boot camp courses tomorrow. So you might want to check that out. The behavior board's free, and it's got a toddler section now too. And it's all, you can check out go to BratBusters.com. It's all on there. And be careful though. There's a whole bunch of people, because I got a big audience now. There's a whole bunch of people out there taking money from parents pretending to be me, which there's not much I can do about that. Not much you can do, but just be careful. It's BratBusters.com, and just click on the link, and that would be my website. But anyway, thanks so much for joining me. Happy parenting, and we'll see you maybe tomorrow in the group coaching sessions. I'm very excited about it. Anyway, bye now.